Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines here. The UK's got a crypto bill incoming, ladies and gentlemen, and we need to talk about stablecoin takeover. And the United Nations now calling Ripple distributed ledger technology global financial transaction system. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter for exclusive content right here. It's $1.13 trillion market cap for crypto. It's up 1.5%. Good morning, everybody. Man, do I love to smell a crypto in the morning. Yeah. Digital Perspectives, permabull. That's what I am. Bitcoin 23,400 plus, Ethereum 1679 and change. Tether market cap is 68 billion, a little higher than that, they say. 41 cent for XRP. It's at a crucial point we need to pay attention to, and we want to pay attention to this because this is glint, baby. That's right. And I use it to get my gold, and I'm about to top off my card again, because I love using it. And I love gathering my gold and stocking and piling it up, especially now with the current economic situation around the world. I love having a MasterCard debit card that I can spend my gold just like money anywhere that MasterCard is accepted. This is a really, really incredible product that they offer here. Check them out. I was a customer before they were a sponsor. That's why I loved them. That's how we met, and that's how the relationship grew. And I think you should check it out, see if it's right for yourself. Check out the sponsor underneath the video here. Take a look at this. Let's level set very quickly here. Shout out to Jeremy Hogan from Legal Briefs. Trust is the sole backing for most of the money in the world. So yes, you can call crypto a Ponzi scheme, but that's just because modern economics is all a Ponzi scheme based on trust in the future, and it absolutely is. Here it is. He takes a caption here from Capitalist Creed, and he says basically that bank account is not covered by actual coins and notes. If all of the account holders at Barclays Bank suddenly demanded their money, Barclays would promptly collapse unless the government steps in to save it. The same is true for all the other banks mentioned here, and it sounds like a giant Ponzi scheme, doesn't it? But if it's a fraud, then the entire modern economy is a fraud. The fact is it's not deception, but rather a tribute to the amazing abilities of the human imagination. What enables banks and the entire economy to survive and flourish is our trust in the future. The trust is the sole backing for most of the money in the world. Absolutely. So well captioned and said there. Shout out to Jeremy Hogan. Now let's level set with this before we move forward here, because that is speaking to the fractional lending that has created the enormous imagination of the human mind to be able to support such a system that is truly backed by nothing. The test used in the SEC versus Howey is typically used by the SEC to sue hucksters, Ponzi schemers, and other con men who sell fake securities. The Howey test is a way to stop them, not a means to facilitate registration with the SEC. Mic drop, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really reminded of Stuart Alderati when he told us when the case was first brought by the SEC against Ripple. Stuart Alderati says, "Goodbye Howey test, hello Ripple test." We're getting closer, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to find out. We're going to find out how this is all going to unfold here very soon. Who knew, says Michael Branch. Now, we want to pay attention to everything else going out of here for sure. When considering 8 key indicators around taxes, ATMs, jobs, and events in crypto, London stands at the top as the most crypto-ready city in the world for businesses and startups. Now remember, the U.S. certainly follows very closely what the UK does in this regard. We learned that from Michelle Bond back in 2019, I believe it was. So this is key indicator. We know that the Prime Minister there in the UK has told us clearly that the UK is going to be a crypto hub. What else do we know? The UK is a huge hub for settlement of global products, derivatives, and things of that nature. So this is just more than a statement, I believe. Then looking here, UK MP and Economic Secretary to the Treasury Andrew Griffith wants to pass the Financial Services and Markets Bill by Easter. By Easter, the bill has recently been amended to include provisions for crypto assets and stable coins. Oh, do tell. Then there's this from Patrick Hansen. Let me run through this very quickly here. Now, Patrick Hansen, if you don't know, works over in the Policy in Europe Director EU Strategy Policy for Circle. He's sharing his own views here, but you need to know about these. Because I have often said that it is the exchanges and stable coins that are the bottleneck that they are after. Who is they? The governments around the world, the market regulators like Gary Gensler. This is an area of key interest, whether it's the treasuries or the securities regulator, it doesn't matter. This is a bottleneck area, so that's why they go for the exchanges, because it's centrally located. Everything's centrally bottlenecked there, and the stablecoin is the on and off ramp. Stablecoins are undeniably crypto's killer use case. ATM and going mainstream faster than any other application. Don't take my word for it. Look at the data. I covered this the other day, just to level set for everybody who didn't see it. Today, total value settled with stablecoins is rising in the bear market, reaching over $7 trillion in 2022, which tops Visa and MasterCard and American Express, by the way. USD Coin Weekly activity wallets are both growing in spite of the bear market. The relative share of stablecoins market cap in Ethereum DeFi market cap is growing significantly. This absolute stablecoin market cap only fell by 5.7%, visibly uncorrelated to DeFi total value locked up. Payment stablecoins like USDC, only backed by cash and cash equivalents, are uncorrelated to the price of Bitcoin or the trading volumes in associated trading pairs. For what it's worth, USDC is even less speculative than the US dollar. About 15% of the USDC transactions are wallet-to-wallet transfers, which is relatively high compared to the 2% for non-financialized transfers observed in traditional payments. Oh, it goes on, but let me just get to it here because I want to read this. Stablecoins are the de facto working capital in DeFi. The second half of 2022, around 45% of the liquidity in decentralized exchanges was provided by, you guessed it, stablecoins. DeFi payments here, stablecoins can bring down FX costs. A $7 trillion daily market, by the way, by up to 80%, saving unbanked and underbanked individuals $30 billion a year. You can see the attractiveness there. In some particular inflation-affected parts of the world, more than 1/3 of the population has already done an everyday purchase with a stable coin. That is a very, very profound number. And then look at this. For international teams in Web3, already a majority of companies surveyed offer USDC or other stablecoins as primary form of compensation for all employees. It's 80-20 in the United States. The rest of the world, 22, and 56%. You can see how this is absolutely taking off for adoption here with USDC and stablecoins. You could also see the high importance placed on getting legislation like we just showed you in the UK and other places around the world. That is the point here. It is coming and they are going to regulate it, and that's how they'll control it. Don't believe it, it's still true. Finally, across the world, EU, UK, US, Japan, Singapore. Regulatory clarity and regulatory frameworks for stablecoins are advancing rapidly and usually first. There it is. And that is what's coming, I do believe. And then there's this. The United Nations, ladies and gentlemen, you waited for it and you deserve to get it. The United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. Oh yeah, it's getting good now. Shout out to ISO 20022. Let's do it. What do they talk about? Let me tell you what they talk about. Distributed ledger taxonomy, ladies and gentlemen, is what they talk about. And who maintains integrity of the ledgers? Trusted ledger owners or actors by validation. Permissioned, publicly shared ledgers, i.e. distributed ledger, e.g. Ripple, a global financial transaction system. Citing what I believe is the public side of the XRP ledger and the private ledger with the permission, right? Then there's this. It is more likely that they will accept money transfers that have been enabled via blockchains. For example, the Ripple or Stellar networks, and listen to this, and that have fixed value in terms of fiat currencies, that have fixed values in terms of fiat currencies. Oh, do tell. For example, blockchain network can also be built so the participants require permission to read or edit the information on the blockchain. For example, Ripple runs a permission blockchain. The startup determines who may act as a transaction validator on its network. It has included consultants to government and industries, MIT, Microsoft as transaction validators, while also building its own nodes in different locations around the world. That's what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. That, to me, is what we're talking about. And again, there's the full report if you want to check it out. It's in the tweet itself. And there is the United Nations Educational, Scientific, Cultural Organization citing Ripple and XRP, and it brings us back to the information we've looked at for so long. Mark Carney, former governor of the Bank of England, suggesting the same exact thing about a global official sector stablecoin and citing XRP and Ripple as a solution. It goes back to the World Bank and what we talked about there in November 21 and about how they also see a fixed value stable coin is the designation they offer for Ripple XRP and XLM as well. I'm not saying that that's what it's going to be, but I tell you what, the World Bank, the former governor of the Bank of England, and the United Nations is, which tells me we don't have full disclosure about exactly what the rest of the world that has the utility and liquidity to bring to this network to make that make sense for all of us. Before we get out of here, and they better be putting some kind of plan together, because the Chinese city of Suzhou has unveiled a new plan to promote the digital yuan adoption, seeking to transact $297 billion worth of central bank currency in this year. And then Seber Banks, Russia's biggest banking establishment, is ready to have its decentralized finance DeFi platform operational by May. This is what you call incentive, ladies and gentlemen. And before we get out of here, Ed Grad Crypto says we got a Gaussian channel weekly. We're watching it in the next 17 hours. XRP weekly candle close is important since it will be the first weekly candle with the full body close inside the Gaussian channel since May 22. Closing within the channel is bullish, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take a look at it real quick. You can see this is the area that he's talking about. Here's your channel, right? And we're right just up inside of it. So we want to watch to see if we stay in it. And if it does, obviously it could be a bullish indicator. Not a prediction, but an indicator. And as we've seen on charts, they go up, they go down, and they go sideways. We will watch it to see what happens next. But I am excited about the fact that we are getting ever so close to a ruling in this case for the SEC versus Ripple. And I can't wait to see what kind of information we get from the judge. That's going to do it for me. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives.